let's fill out some brackets. I'm going to start with the Pac-12, I think. So, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fill out all my brackets. As I said at the top, might make for terrible radio, but whatever. I am looking at brackets, and I just want to fill them out. I don't know what else to say. I just want to advance teams and take a swing and see what the hell happens. But also, I want to do the Pac-12 first because we just talked about that. And now that I'm looking at it, I realize that I kind of don't give a damn about any of these lower teams in the Pac-12. I'm looking at the Utah-Stanford game, and I don't care. 7-10 Stanford, Utah. Who cares? All right, we'll make some picks. Wednesday, March 8th, Pac-12 tournament starting. Washington, Colorado is the first game. I believe Washington won in Boulder the one time they met this year. Washington is the 8 seed. Colorado. What a game to start with, because I truly don't care. I mean, I truly do not care. Whoever is going to lose to UCLA, I'll take Colorado. Just take Colorado. The Buffs are moving on. Deion Sanders is the football coach there, and I don't know. That means nothing. But Colorado's beaten some good teams, though. Colorado beat Tennessee this year. They beat Texas A&M this year. So, yeah, they're good for one win. Washington State, California, that is a no-brainer. Washington State's going to win that. Utah, Stanford, same sort of, like, they both, the winner plays Arizona. I think they both have beaten Arizona this year, weirdly enough. I like Utah in that one. Give me Arizona State over Oregon State. UCLA versus Colorado. I think UCLA, as I told Zach and Josiah, might be the best team in the country, even if Jalen Clark is hurt. Like, they still are that good. So, UCLA is not losing that. I think they can lose in this tournament. I don't think they're losing that game. They're not losing their first game. Oregon versus Washington State is juicy because, as we were saying, Oregon is a team that wins a lot in this tournament. Washington State is hot right now. Washington State is kind of the hipster basketball program. Like if you know about Washington State basketball, you follow college basketball very closely. If you know that Washington State's actually not that bad, not as bad as you might think, like if you're one of those people, you're following it very closely. But I think it feels like Oregon's going to win that because Oregon just that's what they do in these games. Oregon advances in the Pac. I'm just trying to like forecast like what the narrative here is, and I'm really starting to talk myself into Oregon beating UCLA and Oregon like winning this whole damn thing because the Pac-12 needs more than just 3 bids. I feel like Arizona State they're just destined to be Arizona State, and this is why this is bad radio because at this point those of you listening have no idea where we're even at on the bracket, and I'm not even really sure I do either. But UCLA is going to beat Colorado. Give me Oregon over Washington State. Give me Arizona over who did I say? Utah. Give me USC, Arizona State. Give me USC is going to win that. Give me all right. So I got chalk. I think it is. I think that's how it's going to play out. I mean it's going to be chalk. I think those 4 teams are going to be better than all the others. Give me UCLA or Oregon. I'll take Oregon to beat UCLA. And I think that's actually good for UCLA. And I think UCLA does not want to win this tournament. They don't need to win this tournament. They don't care about this tournament. Oregon has to win it. Oregon's going to be desperate. Oregon is good enough to beat UCLA. I don't think that. I got Oregon over UCLA. Arizona versus USC. USC. Give me Arizona. Give me Arizona over Oregon. That's my final. Lock me in on that. I think I covered every game. I got Arizona over Oregon in the Pac-12 tournament. There. Get that out of my face now because I don't know if I'm going to watch a second of the Pac-12 tournament, for being completely honest. All right, let's go in order of what we did the interviews now. Big 12 was first, I think. We had Fran Fraschilla on the show first, right? First game, West Virginia, Texas Tech. West Virginia, Texas Tech. Dude, my mind's all over the place. I'm not. This is what I'm learning right now. Is like I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready. I sat down and I had like no notes. I was just gonna go off of gut, and now all of a sudden I'm just like Texas Tech is West Virginia is going to win this game. They have to win this game. They're on the Texas Tech's punting on their season. They just suspended Mark Adams. West Virginia I think is better anyway. And West Virginia is going to win. So West Virginia over Texas Tech. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Bedlam basketball edition. Oklahoma is maybe the best worst team that's ever existed in a conference in college basketball history. There's never been a better team that's been considered the worst team in their own conference than Oklahoma. I like watching Oklahoma more than I like watching Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is still technically maybe on the bubble. I don't know. I haven't looked at it lately. But I think there's still a hope that they could play their way in. But I like Oklahoma in this for some reason. I just like Oklahoma is when they get going. Grant Sherfield gets going. He's a ton of fun to watch. And Oklahoma State's like just not fun. And that's really what it comes down to. West Virginia and Oklahoma are fun. So I'm having them advance on Wednesday. In the quarterfinals, we got Baylor, Iowa State, in the 4-5 game. They just played. Iowa State just won in Waco. I have to believe if Baylor is truly one of the 10 best teams in the country, as we were led to believe going into that game in Waco, you're not coming off of that game and then losing to the exact same team again. Baylor's a make shots team. Baylor's a ton of fun. I've said it about Baylor all year. They don't guard as well as I want them to guard, but they are so fun and their guards are unstoppable for the most part. So give me Baylor to beat Iowa State. Kansas is going to beat West Virginia. Texas versus Oklahoma. Texas is going to win that game. Texas and then Kansas State TCU. Oof. This is why you fill out bracket. This is why you don't talk it through, TJ. This is why I don't think this is good. I don't think this segment's working.
This is what March is.
Yeah.
You're in the mix now.
I know, I'm in it. But I'm just like the ramblings of a madman as he's staring at a blank bracket. Kansas State, TCU. What do I think is going to happen there? I think TCU is the better team. I think TCU just lost to Oklahoma, I know, but Kansas State just lost to West Virginia. That's life in the Big 12, baby. Like, good luck like using last week as an example of what next week is going to have in store. I don't think it works that way. I think TCU is the better team, so I'm picking TCU. That's my logic. So who did I pick in the Baylor Iowa State? I think I picked Baylor. Baylor, Kansas, Texas, TCU. Kansas is better than Baylor. I'm just trying to think through like the angles here of like, is Kansas trying to punt on this because they're trying to win the national championship? Who needs it more? Who wants it more? Baylor's never won a Big 12 tournament. Kansas has won a million of these things, but I think Kansas is going to win because I just said it. Kansas has won a million of these things, and they're going to continue to do that. I don't think even when Kansas doesn't want to win it, they still find a way to win it, and they're better than Baylor. That's like that's a game. I could see Kansas losing the championship, but they're going to beat Baylor if they play them in the semifinals. I think. I have to believe they're going to beat Baylor. Texas TCU. Just played in Fort Worth there. TCU got the better of them. I think Texas came away from that game thinking we're fine, we're in a good spot. Texas then whoops Kansas. Texas has been a team that I feel like is somehow flying under the radar, even though they've been highly ranked all year. Because like I talked with Fran on Monday, like Chris Beer gets fired and you just kind of cast Texas off to the side. Texas guard play is incredible. Marcus Carr is built for like he's on year 7 of doing this. Like this is what this man does. Is like when he finds himself in tournament situations, it doesn't always work out, but he's going to step up and say I'm him. He's going to say he looks in the mirror every single morning in March and he says I'm him. This is what Marcus Carr does. I think Marcus Carr and Texas are going to beat TCU. And we are going to get a championship of the top 2 seeds. It is going to be Kansas. It is going to be Texas. It is going to be a rematch of the last game of the regular season that happened in Austin when Texas beat the hell out of Kansas, except this time Kansas is going to win. Is that too much chalk? No, I had 5-1, 2-6. That's not too bad. And then a 1-2, yeah. And then Kansas wins. So there you go. There's your Big 12 tournament. ACC tournament is actually underway. Are these games? These games are going on right now, I think. Who won the Florida State Georgia Tech game?
Let me get the Georgia Tech by 1.
Wow. All right, we're recording these as I'm going to go ahead and guess that Boston College is going to beat Louisville.
It is a 1-point game.
It's a 1-point game right now?
3 minutes left in the first. It's 25-24 BC. Could you imagine? What if they make a run? What does that do?
If Louisville goes on a little bit of a if Louisville beats North Carolina.
We talked about that with Rutherford, but like
Louisville's not going to. Well, Louisville could beat Boston College. I do believe that could happen. There's 0 chance they beat North Carolina.
It's tied.
That's the problem in the second. That's the problem in the second round for them. They're not going to beat North Carolina. I could see this is going to be outdated, but because everyone listening already knows what happened, I'm going to be wrong immediately. But Virginia Tech's going to beat Notre Dame. Boston College is still going to beat Louisville. And you said Georgia Tech beat Florida State. All right, so I'm gonna rip them off from Wednesday then. So Syracuse, Wake Forest. Wake Forest, I think, is the better team, but I kind of have talked myself into Jim Boeheim thinking he's owed a moment because like everyone's piling on him lately, and this isn't Greensboro, and this man hates Greensboro. But then that kind of works the other way, TJ. I'm talking myself in circles now. He hates Greensboro. He wants out of Greensboro. He doesn't want to keep winning. You think this man wants to go back to his hotel in Greensboro and spend another night in this city? He hates this place. Why would he win this game? Also, like Jim Boeheim's at a point in his career where I don't think his way of sticking it to the haters is winning and then like being on top of the mountain and saying, kiss my ass. I think it's losing. And then like, I don't think he's at war with like the rest of the country as much as he's at war with his own fan base right now. And instead of like winning and saying, kiss my ass, you haters, I think he wants to lose and say, he wants to do the Mark Turgeon. This is all your fault. You've done, all of you Syracuse fans, you brought this on yourself. Enjoy these losses that I'm dealing up to you.
It's almost like he doesn't want to go out on like a last hurrah ever.
Yeah.
He just wants to be mid and stay around until the end of time.
And make all the Syracuse fans that don't respect him like he thinks they should.
Right.
Miserable.
Give them a couple ounces of happiness every season for the next 20 years somehow.
That's the narrative I'm going off of. I talked to Mike about maybe Syracuse going on a run here, but that's not what's going to happen. Wake Forest is going to beat Syracuse. Georgia Tech, Pitt is somehow was fighting for. Pitt's not on the bubble, are they? I feel like every team in the ACC is on the bubble. We talked to this with Mike, but Pitt's on the bubble.
21-10.
Pitt's on the bubble.
Damn.
Yeah, Pitt is on the bubble. Pitt is very much on the bubble. Pitt's going to win that game. But bubble teams in that situation, playing against a team that kind of has nothing to play for in Georgia Tech, Pitt's going to win. It might get dicey. I could see that like halftime. No, I could. That's the ACC. Pitt was. You have Clemson, who's a 3 seed. You have Pitt, who going into the final game of the season, if they won, they literally won the conference. Clemson's a 3. Clemson's not going to make the tournament unless they win this thing. And Pitt's on the bubble. It's incredible. This is the worst ACC ever. Give me Pitt though. Carolina versus Louisville or Boston College. It's going to be Boston College. Carolina's going to win that game. We already talked about it with Mike. NC State, Virginia Tech is juicy because I think Virginia Tech could be poised to. It's an attractive bracket for Virginia Tech for their style of play, for a tournament setting. For Mike Young, if I remember correctly, has had success in the past in this thing since he's taken over Virginia Tech. Did they win it? Did Virginia Tech? They didn't win it. ACC tournament list of ACC. COVID like has broken me, dude. Trying to remember who's all won everything and who hasn't. Dude, Virginia Tech not only won it, they won it last year. They're the defending champions. I'm a moron. Of course they won it. They won it last year.
Yeah.
Hunter Couture, they beat Duke. They beat Duke because
they have a buzzer beater in the
Virginia Tech beat North Carolina. It was going to be Duke, North Carolina in the ACC championship.
Yeah.
And Virginia Tech beat North Carolina in the semifinals and then beat Duke in the championship because we were about to get another North Carolina-Duke game, but instead we got in the Final Four. That's right, dude. Yeah, so give me Virginia Tech to beat NC State in this one. And I like Virginia Tech versus Clemson too, by the way. So Miami, Wake Forest. It's got to be Miami. Miami's not going to lose their first game in this thing. Duke versus Pitt. I do think Duke's going to win. I think that Pitt's going to play them close. Pitt's going to feel really good about it. Jason Capel is going to, or Jeff Capel, sorry. Probably Jason Capel too. He'll be loud. They're both very loud about it. But Jeff Capel will be talking in the post game about how if you watch that game that we just played and you don't think we're an NCAA tournament team, you need your head checked. And he's going to be doing a lot of that and like a lot of like moral victories that even though we lost, we actually gave Duke a pretty good game and all that sort of thing. But Duke's going to win. Virginia, North Carolina. We talked about it with Mike. I think Carolina wins. I think that's the game Carolina wins, and they say to themselves, "We're now in. This is it. We are in. everybody kiss our ass if you said that we were on the bubble. We are not on the bubble. We just beat Virginia. Stamp it. We're going to the NCAA tournament. And then Clemson, Virginia Tech. I've worked myself. I hate brackets, dude. I hate doing this because now I'm looking at my bracket and I hate what I have. I have to put Carolina, Clemson, or Virginia Tech in the championship of this thing. Fuck. This is the part where I pull out the eraser and I say we got to fix something here. The wheels are falling off for Clemson. I think Virginia Tech wins, and then. All right, so we got Miami Duke, we got Carolina and Virginia Tech in the rematch in the semifinals from last year. I think it's how many people are still listening to this, by the way. This just feels like the ramblings of an insane person because it kind of is. We have Miami Duke, we have Carolina and Virginia Tech. So I think it's Duke over Miami, and I think it's.
Do it.
You want it to be Duke,
Do it.
Carolina. So for the story, I think the best story. I think like the best like the fun. I'm gonna just cheer for comedy because that's what the ACC is to me this year is just comedy. That's what I'm gonna cheer for, and that's what I'm gonna put in my bracket. I think the funniest outcome would be Duke beating Carolina, and then Carolina still missing the tournament.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to be a Carolina hater. People are going to read way too much into that. I don't want to. I shouldn't even mention this that everyone's going to think I'm like it's some sort of shot at Tate or something. It's not. It's just like simply acknowledging the fact that like after last year to then have Duke beat Carolina 3 times and keep them from the tournament, it would be objectively funny. Would it not, TJ? That would be funny.
I'm all for the Duke UNC comedy.
And I hate Duke. I do. I don't want Duke to be. But also, like, I hated the iteration of Duke where Coach K was there and he was, like, I don't know if I'm the jury's still out on how much I hate this John Shire Duke era.
I guess it's like a good story for college basketball on like a wider scope too. Like, hey, pass the torch. I don't know.
I think that would be funny. I think that's funny.
I would laugh.
I would certainly laugh if that happened. So give me Duke over Carolina. All right, SEC, Mississippi State, Florida. I'm taking Florida because Brandon Walker has made me watch Mississippi State. I've watched more Mississippi State basketball in my life this year than the rest of my life combined. I will never forgive Brandon for that. I do believe in Chris Jans long term. I like Mississippi State long term. This team is. If you hate college basketball and if you're an NBA person that's like I can't watch guys just clank shots and muck it up and put unwatchable basketball on my television, you point to these Mississippi State Bulldogs. So I know that Mississippi State's a better team. I know they're desperate. I know all of these things. I don't care. They don't deserve to win because they're just simply not fun to watch, and I don't want Brandon to be happy. So Florida wins that. Ole Miss, South Carolina. I like South Carolina. Shout out Michi Johnson. Shout out G.G. Jackson. They got some talent. They never really did much with it this year, but I think they can beat Ole Miss. LSU, Georgia. Georgia's been playing some decent basketball this year. I don't know what happened to LSU. I was kind of high on them. Not like they were going to win the league or anything, but like I certainly didn't think they were going to finish dead last, be the 14th seed in this thing. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But I think Georgia wins that game. Wait a second. I just did different rounds. I advanced Mississippi State. They play on Thursday. Dude, this is a mess. South Carolina, Tennessee. So I have Florida winning the first game on Thursday. It's going to be South Carolina, Tennessee. Tennessee's going to win that one. Arkansas, Auburn is going to be an awesome game. Absolutely awesome game. Arkansas has to at some point. I know Auburn's on the bubble. Arkansas, I think, like weirdly is not. I think Arkansas is in. And Auburn, I don't know. I'm not a bracketologist. If I haven't made that clear already, like I have to like look up who's on the bubble and who's not. I think Arkansas is like in better standing than Auburn is. So like Auburn needs this more, but I think Arkansas has so much talent and they haven't. We just keep waiting for like they have to win one of these games. They have to win one of these games, and I think Auburn now. Damn it, dude. I think Auburn beating Tennessee in their mind, they're now in. So I think Auburn relaxed their buttholes. Like they were like, all right, tight butthole going into the Tennessee game. We need a big win to secure NCAA tournament berth. They beat Tennessee. I think they were going to relax a little bit. Arkansas still has something to prove. I think Arkansas is going to win against Auburn. Vandy, Georgia. I like Vandy. Florida, Alabama. I like Bama, obviously. Missouri, Tennessee. I like Missouri. Now we're starting to get a little too chalky, though, TJ. Now I'm second guessing. Texas A&M, Arkansas. Texas A&M is better. I think I'm just going to go chalk. I think I'm going to say semifinals. I think it's going to be chalk semifinals. I think it's 1-4, 3-2. Kentucky is going to beat Vanderbilt. And then I like Kentucky to bow out. I like Texas A&M to win. Give me Missouri in an upset over Alabama. I think Missouri has an awesome offense. I think Missouri, for all the problems, like I don't trust Missouri in the NCAA tournament. I don't trust I think Missouri is a good story more than they are a good team. And they're a good team, but I just think like the story is outweighing the team. And I think if Missouri was wearing Kentucky jerseys, I don't think that fan base would be so high on them. I think it's like Missouri fans are so beaten down that they're just looking for, like, the fact that they have a good team this year has made them think that their team is better than what it actually is. But I like Missouri in the upset because I think that's a good matchup for Missouri. What happened when they played this year? Let me look that up.
Missouri fan in the office, first fan to complain about not enough talk on their team on this show so far. Jake Lisowski, one of our editors. There you go.
They played one time. It was at Missouri, and Missouri lost by 24.
Jesus.
But they're both of these teams though are make shots teams, and to my point, on that day, Alabama 10 for 35 from 3, which isn't even good. Missouri was 3 for 28 from the 3-point line in that game. They're not going to go 3 for 28 again. That's college basketball. I think they're going to give me an upset just so I'm not too chalky in the SEC here. And then it's going to be Missouri versus Texas A&M, and I like Texas A&M to win because we talked about it with Brandon. I don't think Kentucky wants to win this thing. I think A&M does, and A&M is going to beat Kentucky and then win the whole damn thing.
He seemed flabbergasted by that concept.
He's a
I don't know why.
Because I really think he's a football guy, and in his mind, football teams can't afford to just like throw games. So to set up the bigger picture, because like the last game you'll play before the playoff and football is the conference championship or the rivalry game, and you would never obviously like throw it, or you would never like shrug your shoulders and say we don't care about that. But in basketball, it happens. I mean, it's not even my opinion. It's a statement of fact.
It
like,
happens.
As coaches, like they don't purposely lose the game. It's just like when they lose, they're not even a little bit mad. They're like, this is actually good for us.
It's like it's not the same, but similar as in the NFL. If you've already clinched the 1 seed or something, you're not going to care if you lose week 18.
Yes,
like,
it's not
these teams. It's not an arbitrary trophy, but unless you're fighting for seeding, like. Alabama doesn't care if they're a 1 seed or a 1 seed.
He's got college football brain. That's all it is. Yeah. All right, let's do the Big East real quick. I got Big East and Big Ten left, right? That's it?
Yes.
St. John's Butler, as much as I want Butler to win, I don't think they're going to. St. John's is playing in their home arena. Butler cannot. Butler is among the most frustrating teams I've watched all season, and I've watched more Butler basketball than any national guy. I promise you that, because of Coach Mata and Greg Oden on staff and John Diebler on staff. As I talked with Fanta, fire John Diebler if they lose this game, but they also will lose this game. So just fire John Diebler now and let's get it over with. St. John's will beat Butler. Seton Hall, DePaul. Come on, Seton Hall's gonna win. Villanova, Georgetown. Villanova's gonna win. I think the Big East, like John was trying to sway me into believing that we could get some shakeups and like Villanova can go on a run. As I told him, Villanova has a path, but also I'm a moron, and you could put like the 96 Bulls and like the 2016 Warriors and like all these great the 86 Celtics in a Big East tournament bracket with Villanova, and I'd be like, Villanova has a path. I like Villanova's draw. So I'm gonna be rational about this and realize how stupid that is just to say that Villanova is gonna win just because they're Villanova. This is going to come back to bite me, I'm sure, but Creighton's a way better team than Villanova. So I actually think as a whole, the Big East is going to be pretty chalky to the semifinals. So give me Marquette, give me UConn, give me Xavier, give me Creighton. Whether I don't know if I do. Do I think that's what's going to happen, TJ, or is that what I want to happen? Because that is what I want to happen. If those 4 teams advance to the semifinals, Friday is going to be awesome to have Marquette versus UConn and Xavier versus Creighton. I think that's what I want to happen. I'm going to try to will it into existence. 1-4, 2-3, that's what I want. Then I think UConn beats Marquette. I think UConn I think we get UConn versus Creighton in the final of this thing. And I'm with John. I'm going to ride with John on Creighton winning it. Because I think UConn John didn't want to say this, but I felt like he was hinting at it. I think like the dirty little secret about UConn coming back to the Big East is like everyone in the conference is really happy about the buzz and the juice that it's brought to have UConn back in it, but nobody wants to see these assholes win anything. Yeah. Like it's not my words. I feel like that's how the rest of the Big East feels about UConn. It's like it's good to have you, like John kept saying, it's like a family. It's like, thanks for coming back, brother, but also like I do not want you to be happy, and I'm gonna make your life hell. Yeah. So I think like. As we were saying with the ACC, like the funniest outcome is UConn marching to the final. They did this last year, right? Wasn't it UConn Villanova in the final last year? 2022 Big East tournament. Let me look that up. My memory's shot. I think
You got March brain.
No, Villanova UConn was in the semifinals, and Villanova won last year. Dude, Villanova won as an ACC last year.
And then went to the Final Four?
No, I'm misreading that. I was gonna say there's no way Villanova was an ACC. They were ranked. No, I'm reading it on
they were 4th.
They were 8th in the country. That's what the 8 was next to their name. I was like, they were the 2 seed. Yeah. They beat UConn in the semifinals. I remember they beat UConn last year. But I was at that game last year, and I remember UConn fans like having that like the aura about like they're like, we're back in the Garden. This is our shit. Like we own this place, and we're gonna. I think that would be funny if it was Creighton, UConn in the championship, and UConn fans like started counting their chickens before they hatch, and then Creighton won. So give me Creighton to beat UConn. Big Ten, who cares? Honestly, who cares? Nobody cares.
Yeah,
nobody cares.
True.
Nobody cares. It doesn't matter.
All the teams suck anyway. Who cares?
Ohio State's beating Wisconsin. In fact, not only do I think Ohio State's beating Wisconsin, I guarantee Ohio State will beat Wisconsin.
You use the G word?
I'm using the G word because I just like Wisconsin stinks. Ohio State is not a bad team. We just don't win.
Okay.
And I think what Chris Holtman has figured out that a lot of coaches around the country have not quite caught up to him yet is that winning is sometimes overrated. And I think
I'm with you.
So there's a belief in sports that sometimes you have to learn how to lose before you can learn how to win. And guys have to you have to sit there with it. And you have to let it like consume you, that you're losing. You're just stacking up all these losses. And I think Holt sees the bigger picture. I think he's I think all this losing is actually a good thing. I'm definitely not just trying to spin zone this. I think if we play the young guys and we look forward to the future, TJ, and we say, thank you, seniors. Thank you, older dudes. Thank you, for your service to this program. But we're riding with our freshmen, and you let Bryce Sensabaugh cook. Wisconsin, like, when it comes down to it, when this game gets ugly, Bryce Sensabaugh. Do you trust Bryce Sensabaugh or Chucky Hepburn when you throw the ball to him and say, "Please go score"? I trust Bryce Sensabaugh more than Chucky Hepburn. We're gonna win. I guarantee it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. We have to.
Should be fun.
Why did I just do that? Minnesota, Nebraska. Nebraska's going to win that game. Rutgers, Michigan. Michigan's going to win, TJ. We both know it, don't we?
I know.
No.
I know. It's going to suck. And we're going to play too close. And then Hunter Dickinson's going to dagger us with a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
And then I will be sad.
Ohio State, Iowa. I was at the game in Columbus when Ohio State and Iowa played, and we looked like the much better team on that day. Iowa, as we said with Ant, they're a make shots team. We'll know after the first 3 minutes what this game's going to look like. But Iowa is better than Ohio State, and I think that's when we bow out. We get our big win against Wisconsin, and then that's it. Penn State, Illinois is going to be a ton of fun. That is going to be chaos. Jalen Pickett's the best player on the floor, but Illinois is going to win. Illinois is going. I have an Illinois problem this year. I do. I love this team more than I should. It does not make any damn sense, but like I just love those pieces. I love Terrence Shannon. I love Coleman Hawkins. I love Matthew Meyer. I love that he said he's got caffeine poisoning. All of it's hilarious to me. I love Brad Underwood. I love they're just a chaotic mess, but I love them. And Penn State's good, and they're certainly capable. It's gonna be a fun game, but I think Illinois is gonna win. Nebraska Maryland is interesting because Nebraska's way better than really anyone realizes, except teams in the Big Ten that have lost to Nebraska.
Oh yeah.
If you've lost to Nebraska, you're like,
in the last 2 months,
yeah,
especially.
Yeah, you're like, wait, I thought this team sucked. And maybe they do, but they're not.
They're a really good bad team.
Maryland stinks away from home. Like they got the bugaboo when they leave College Park. Like I don't know what's going on. They got to win one. Maryland's gonna beat Nebraska. Maryland has to beat Nebraska. Purdue, Michigan. Michigan's gonna win. I mean, I know it. You know it. We all like Michigan. And then they're in. And at that point, they're in the NCAA tournament. I've seen this story before, both from a Purdue perspective, both in a Michigan perspective. Like it's. I've seen this movie. I know how it ends. And Michigan beats Purdue on Friday in the Big Ten tournament. Iowa, Michigan State. I think Michigan State is a team that I will, by the time Selection Sunday hits, I'm going to slowly be talking myself into Michigan State having a chance to. I don't know where the ceiling is for them though, but Ann and I talked about it a little bit, like they just being so guard dominant, and it's hard not to trust Izzo, and to some extent it's a meme, obviously, that like, you know, like Tom Izzo's lost to a 15 seed in the NCAA tournament before, so like if there's some sort of magic wizardry going on there, and he's so much better than everyone else in March, why did he lose to a 15 seed? Great point, but also like coaching does matter, and like the guy has proven over and over again that like he can figure out ways to win with teams that aren't quite as good. Long story short, I think Michigan State's going to beat Iowa because I think this Michigan State team is like setting up for something. I don't know what it is yet. I got to figure that out between now and Sunday. Illinois Northwestern. I want to talk myself into Northwestern going on a little bit of a run and having a little bit of fun, especially with it going on in Chicago. I don't think Illinois can let that happen. I think Illinois has to beat Northwestern. I think that's funnier to me. I'm just going back to the comedy of it all. Like I think Illinois beating Northwestern would be funny. And it's hard to explain why, but I think Chris Collins winning Coach of the Year over Matt Painter was absolutely egregious to me. I've been saying it, like Northwestern is a good team. Like they're fun. They're usually not this good, so everyone's excited about them. But like I think Illinois has more talent. And I think that's ultimately going to matter. And I think Illinois is going to beat Northwestern. And then we got Maryland, Indiana. Give me Indiana. Yeah, give me Indiana. I think Indiana is Indiana's gonna. Yeah, give me Indiana. Okay, Indiana. I'm trying to think through. We got Michigan, Michigan State. We got Illinois, Indiana. Michigan's going to beat Michigan State. I think Indiana's going to beat Illinois. And then I think Michigan's going to beat Indiana in the championship, and Michigan's going to win this Big Ten tournament, because that's just like I've come to grips with the fact that that's what's happening. Michigan's going to win the Big Ten tournament. So there you go. Those are my conference tournament picks. Do not ask me to recite back to you a single pick that I just made, because that was absolute chaos in my brain for 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Just like 20 minutes of just like insanity.
Whew. Those will all probably happen too. I'm sure you'll be right with those.
The good part about like as we got going there, I was like, I should have just like written these down and tweeted out the brackets, but not really, because it's harder to throw it back in my face when I'm wrong, because you have to like go back through the insanity of me podcasting and clip that up. Whereas a bracket, you could, or if I tweeted it out the graphic, you could, it'd be harder. It's harder for me to say fake news. Now, when you throw this back in my face, I'll just be like, dude, that was AI. That was like some sort of software with a fake voice.